how much have you earned up till now by trading in Bitcoin?
but reach twice or thrice number that I dreamed of.
Well, what exactly is crypto?
From a very ideal perspective, people should just buy Bitcoin because they want to store value, and that is the better store of value than anything else. So, if you ask me personally, I would not buy gold, I would not buy a house. I would go buy Bitcoin and park my wealth over there. You ask all of these rich people, the main problem is not how to make money, but how to preserve money. I started taking riskier and riskier bets, and I lost all of my money. So I was down to barely pennies.
Earlier, you said that you thought that you are not a smart guy, but you definitely are.
I was very stressed out that my peers might be earning more than me in internships and all of that. But I can definitely say that I earned more than them. I also formed my own community called the Web3 Mumbai community, which
Mhm.
is flourishing right now.
How can someone interested join your community?
The truth is that I gave up something to do all of this.
I'm very confused about crypto, Bitcoin, and NFTs. I don't understand the logic behind them and its working. Are you confused too? Then listen to this podcast where we discuss everything about crypto trading, Bitcoins, the resources that you need to know to gain more information on these topics. Joining us today is Aditya Chakrabarti, a fourth year engineering student from VJTI, who has a lot of experience in crypto trading and also has a lot of knowledge regarding the same. Let's listen to Aditya and grow more. I hope you enjoy the podcast.
So, hello Aditya, and welcome to the podcast Beyond the Norm. So, the main purpose of this episode is to discuss what is crypto because basically there are many things about it which I'm confused about, and the viewers might be too. And the second thing is what the college students should do along with their studies to earn money and also learn some skill sets. And I think you would be the best candidate and a guest for this episode because of your experience in crypto trading. You have also done multiple internships, started a company of your own, and also conducted multiple successful meetups. So let's begin the podcast and let's cover everything one by one. So
Sure.
as I know you are, yeah. So as I know you are from Vijay and you are studying electronics, right?
Yeah. Electronics and telecommunications.
So from ENTC, how did you get into crypto and how and why did you start trading crypto?
Got it. So I started crypto before I joined college actually. So it I was gonna give my exams, my competitive exams, and some of these exams had a lot of fees, and my family could not really afford them. Like my dad always supported, paying for a couple of exams, but not all of them. And in India, every private college has its own exam. Every state has its own exam. Even J Advanced, J Main, so you have to pay your exam fees separately. So I was like, let me take that up on my own. We had been on a trip to a pilgrimage site. I am not very spiritual, but my family is, and we had been to Vaishno Devi. And during that time, there was this GameStop saga, uh, from where I learned about short selling and all of that, and it was a huge deal. There's a movie about it as well called Dumb Money. Um, Anywho, when I came back, I did not have network over there. So when I came back, it was all the news, online and on social media and all of that. So I was very intrigued. And around the same time, Dogecoin took off. So this is early 2021. By mid 2021, I started putting a bit of money. It was complete, being a noob, you can say. I had no experience, no qualifications, no education. It was the exact wrong thing. It was what you're not supposed to do. And I started putting a little bit of money. It wasn't much. I started off with like 500 bucks. I remember the first trade I made a rupee, and I was so excited that this something of this sort is even possible. Um, it was COVID time. I turned 18 as well. Um, during the same period, and it was a very uh, good time to get into crypto because it was the peak of the bull run. So I thought. But that is exactly how retail traders think or the newbies think, and that is a very wrong way to think about things. But I thought that I was very smart back then. Um, so eventually, I had built up a bunch of savings by doing a lot of activities from a very young age. So I'll just describe a few of them, not to
Yeah, sure.
boast or anything. Um, so, for example, everybody gets birthday money, right? So, some friends sometimes give you money instead of gift. Sometimes your family gives you a bunch of money. Um, Sometimes you get some money to put in your piggy bank. So that is how I had saved a bunch of money. Then I used to do hitchhiking a lot. So hitchhiking is basically pooling your transport with other people and saving money. So I used to do that on my own, and I saved a bunch of money like that. Then I won a lot of competitions. I remember winning even online quizzes and games, like those were general knowledge quizzes and games, and I won a
Okay.
bunch of them quite a few times. And then I used to do some social media marketing on Instagram, Facebook. Back then, even TikTok was allowed in India, and a couple of more platforms like WhatsApp and so on. So I got a lot of money from that as well. Um, so these were student micro
And
influencer
this was at the
gigs.
age of, all of
This
this
was
was
when
at
I
the
was
age of,
in 11th and 12th. So 16
okay.
and 17, 16, 17 years of age.
Okay.
So
So you
I
made your
had
first earnings at a very early age.
Yeah, but it wasn't substantial. Uh, but it was quite an amount good enough for like a teenager. Okay.
Of
Anyways,
course.
I put all of that money into crypto. You know, there was a huge drawdown, and I'm a very conservative person or a trader, so to speak. So, but I did not lose a bunch of money. I instead doubled my portfolio size. Um,
Okay.
so that was a 2x, even in a bad market condition. The market again picked up by the end of November. So that is the end of 2021. Okay, so we are still in 2021. So I told you I started crypto in April. I started learning about crypto from the end of Jan, and I almost doubled my portfolio at the end of 2021. So that's in November, December. All right. Now in 2022, one second. Sorry. So in 2022, um, so again, I was still, learning the ropes, and considered myself smart because I was making money. But the reality is, it was a bull market. It was a time when even monkeys make money. Like you can like throw a dart at any crypto and you would make money. So it wasn't
Yeah.
smart. It was very dumb of me back then. To take
So
on
did
such
you like
huge.
while investing that time, did you learn trading crypto from somewhere and tried
I
with some
learned
virtual
a
money, or
lot.
how was it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So crypto works in like 4-year cycles, and I learned a lot. And I to anybody starting to trade, uh, I would suggest that you just put in 100 rupees, 500 rupees or something, and once you see the money and your portfolio moving, sometimes it will become 510, sometimes it becomes 490. um, you would realize that you know actual market forces are detecting sort of deciding your wealth, and you'll start learning about crypto thereafter. You'll start learning about what you're buying, how you're buying it, how you're supposed to buy, how you make money, and so on. I will tell you a few more nuances about this towards the end.
Uh-huh.
But for now, just to elaborate and reiterate, um, that just put in a small amount of money, something which you can afford to lose always, and then you'll automatically start learning as the price fluctuates as your
So like,
portfolio value.
uh, uh, did you like basically learn complete trading by just trading actual in the actual markets, or did you follow someone on YouTube or looked out for some lessons or courses on the net?
Yeah, so I never purchase any course, but I did follow a bunch of people on YouTube and online, and I also learned stuff by doing it myself. And
Okay,
it takes a lot of time. You might get a few good calls, you might make a bunch of money, but that doesn't mean that you're smart enough yet. All right. So I used to think that I was smart enough back then, but that was very foolish of me. And honestly, it took me years to learn everything. So I, dabbled my hands in commodities and stocks and so on and so forth, and gold. And I eventually came back to crypto. I started doing derivatives like futures and options. I started doing perpetual derivatives. So there's a huge learning curve to it. Do not think that tomorrow you'll just put money in some crypto and be a millionaire overnight. That's not how it works. It
of
took me
course.
years to perfect the art, and I still wouldn't say I'm a master at it. I am just like most other ordinary people,
So you have
but
been trading in crypto for the past four
very, very
years?
experienced. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is my fourth year,
The
2025. So I told you I started in 2021.
20,
This
yeah.
marks
So
my 4 years.
this is your
Yeah.
fourth year.
And crypto
Yeah,
works
and
in 4 year cycles. So crypto
okay.
works in 4 year
What
cycles.
do you mean
So
by
I think
4 year
I'm still
cycle?
doing very good. Yeah, we'll get to that. So Fourier cycles basically mean the boom and bust phase. So basically, there's a huge
Mm-hmm.
bull market for say 1 year, and then there are 3 years of bear market. Okay, bear market means the prices
Okay.
are going down, the sentiment is very bad, um, and then 1 year there's explosive growth, where all the media attention is coming back, retail is flooding, and retail means the common people who have nothing to do with crypto. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the top is in when your father, your mother, and your aunt and your neighbor start asking you about crypto. How do I buy Bitcoin? So when the retail
Yeah.
FOMO is in, everybody has a fear of missing out. When Bitcoin reaches new all-time highs, so that is the cycle of of a bull market.
Okay.
So
And
there's a
name
four-year
any
cycle.
uh,
Yeah, yeah,
and
go on.
name any two YouTube channels if you can remember from which you learned or gained some knowledge about crypto and trading.
Okay, so very precisely, trading is very different from crypto. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can make a lot of money in crypto, but there's a lot more to crypto than just trading. So I'll tell you two channels which tell you about crypto, um, and some analysis about it, but not necessarily trading. So the one which I've been following from the very start is Coin Bureau. Uh, Coin Bureau on YouTube. And the second one would be Benjamin Cowen. So I think I started watching him around last year, one of the biggest KOLs in the space, key opinion leaders, and
Mm-hmm.
very smart, very precise guy. Most of his calls are right. I learned a lot of macroeconomics from him. So as I said, trading is very different. So if you learn trading in any market, the same knowledge can be extended to crypto as well. And there are a few more specific things that one must keep in mind, like on chain analysis and so on. But technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and macroeconomics, all of these are, by extension to all markets. I am more of a macro economic trader. So I look at what the Federal Reserve is doing. I look at what the various central banks of the whole world are doing. I look at what the Treasury is doing, and that's how I decide my trades.
Okay. And so basically, what I know about crypto is like talking about all the stages of currency up till now. So according to my knowledge, up till now there have been five stages of currency. First, barter system. You need something, I'll give you that, and you will give me another product in return. Second stage was instead of just barter, they used to have gold or silver coins, which had a real value because they were precious or rare. Third stage was basically the paper money. It was kind of a receipt that if you have a 100 rupee note, then it is a receipt of you having 100 bucks. And then the fourth stage, which is currently we are in the fourth stage, basically that is digital payments, online payments, where we all have gone cashless. And the fifth stage, which is crypto. But First of all, what exactly is crypto? Because it's a digital asset. It's not a paper money, and yeah, exactly what's the concept behind crypto?
Okay. So crypto was started after the 2008 financial crisis by a pseudonymous developer called Satoshi, and he started a protocol called Bitcoin. Okay, very specifically Bitcoin. There have been many attempts by the cypherpunks and the people who value privacy and cryptography a lot to create digital money. There was digital email, like digital mail called email. Everything went digital, but money didn't come digital. Uh, didn't become digital. It was still controlled by the central banks of each country. Even if it was online, it was controlled by the central bank of that particular country. Um, so everybody needed a digital form of money, and that wasn't really possible because of a lot of problems. Um, Byzantine generals problem, double spending problem, and many more. However, blockchains solved this. So again, Satoshi uh, combined all of this together: game theory, blockchain, cryptography, and he came up with the Bitcoin ledger. The genesis was in 2009. The white paper was in late 2008, and yeah, the Bitcoin protocol has been chugging ever since. Um, Bitcoin right now, it was started as a form of currency, a peer-to-peer payment system, and it is already legal tender in a few places in the world, like El Salvador and a few more places around the world. However, right now, Bitcoin is more used as a store of wealth and not as a form of payment. Um, because people would not want to use forms of payment which accrue value, which grow in value. People use forms of payment which lose value. Like you don't buy and sell houses every day when you want to buy something. You don't buy and sell gold bars, for example. You buy and sell with cash. So I would describe Bitcoin specifically as a store of value. Since then, many more cryptocurrencies came about. There were discussions about whether the Bitcoin protocol was good enough. So there were a lot of hard forks of it, and none of them really caught on. Then newer technologies came about, building the world computer, like Ethereum and all of that, where you integrate code with money, so you can create smart contracts. Um, and then there was a whole generation of layer ones which can act as computers. So the difference is Turing completeness. So Bitcoin is not Turing complete. You can't run smart contracts on it. Ethereum and other uh, cryptocurrencies have a virtual machine and are Turing complete, which means it can behave as a computer,
What is a
and
smart
it can
contract?
run code. Smart contract is a bunch of code uh, which basically executes transactions um, based on a few conditions. So you can think of contracts in the real world, um, and smart contracts are something which happens digitally. So you can
Okay.
replicate most of the real world contracts as smart contracts, and it will be executed on chain automatically.
Hmm.
Um, so it is just a piece of software on chain, and that's called smart
No,
contracts.
but like, how is it
Um,
related to crypto? Like, are these contracts related to any transactions, or how
Yep.
is it?
So, for example, I say I want to build my own insurance, or I want to, build my own salary, for example. So, imagine I put 10 bitcoins in a smart contract. Just a very hand wavy example. I put 10 bitcoins in the smart contract, and I tell it that if at the end of every year you're supposed to send one bitcoin to my brother, so it so I don't have to look at it ever again. It will do that automatically. So
Okay.
every year, one Bitcoin will become available for my brother. It will get unlocked basically, and nobody can tamper with it. It's tamper proof, it's immutable. Uh, the 9 Bitcoins, from future years cannot be taken out right now. Only one Bitcoin will be available per year. Um, So that is what smart contracts. In real world, I'll have to hire a trust or a lawyer or somebody to, or a bank, or a custodian to keep my money, and I'll have to, verify if they've actually sent money to my brother at the end of the year. But in smart contracts, you don't have to do any of this. You can integrate, so with the help of oracles are something which integrates real world data with on chain data. So with the help of oracles, you can make smart contracts of any type.
Mhm. Okay. But then, as you said, that crypto, Bitcoin is only used to store value and not to make payments. But then,
Yep.
what's the purpose of investing or putting your money in cryptocurrency?
So crypto and Bitcoin in general is used to store wealth because of a lot of speculation, a lot of these micro caps, or the cryptocurrencies having very small capitalizations. Because of this lot of speculation, they usually shoot up in value, and people make a lot of money. Sometimes
Mhm.
people even lose a lot of money. But from a very theoretical and from a very ideal perspective, people should just buy Bitcoin because they want to store value, and that is the better store of value than anything else. So, if you ask me personally, I would not buy gold, I would not buy a house, I would go buy Bitcoin and park my wealth over there. So,
But
if
what
you,
if like the value goes down? The value of some or any coin goes down.
yeah, so it's not about any coin, I'm only talking about Bitcoin right now. So, most of the coins in the crypto space won't last very long. Uh,
Mhm.
they have mindshare today, they might not have mindshare a few years down the line. Um, but some of the protocols are here to stay. That is my belief. So everyone believes in gold. Gold has value. Everyone believes that houses have value, and the prices of houses keep going up. Similarly, I think a lot of people trust Bitcoin, and I'm not asking or evangelizing anybody to just blindly trust Bitcoin. I want them to read the white paper. I want them to understand the technology behind it, and thereafter they can um, make a decision whether to park their wealth in Bitcoin or not. Um, Ideally, it's not recommended that you put your whole portfolio in it. Just start with 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%, and no more. Keep it well diversified. So crypto is just another way to diversify your portfolio. You can keep some in stocks, some in bonds, some in real estate, some in collectibles, some in crypto, right?
Okay.
And so on and so forth. Now, um, what if the price goes down, right? So that is always possible, but that is also possible with all of these other assets. You have to park your money somewhere, right? When you ask all of these rich people, the main problem is not how to make money, but how to preserve money, how to preserve wealth, right? And all that we are saying right now is that Bitcoin is superior than most of these other assets, including fiat, where most people save money. If you ask your parents where they are parking their wealth, they'll tell you that they have done FDs, or they
Right.
have put it in a bank, which generates interest. Um, but parking your wealth in crypto or Bitcoin will actually preserve wealth. INR is inflating away. Um, Basically, India is inflating away its debt uh, by in by causing inflation of INR. So rupees depreciating in value every day against other assets like dollar and so on. And that is why you see all of these assets go up in value. So houses, cars, or anything, education, everything, the price of everything is increasing. Even the price of normal goods like groceries is increasing. So I always think of it like the vada pav index. And when I was a kid, vada pav used to come for like $5. Now it comes for 20. So holding rupees doesn't make any sense. Um, I'm not saying that Bitcoin will go up forever. All I'm
Mhm.
saying is that Bitcoin will preserve your wealth better than holding rupees or dollars or anything else.
Got it. Got it. But another question that I have is like the value of a paper money is decided by the central banks, or like if you trade stocks, the prices of the stocks depends upon how the company performs. But how is the value of a crypto coin, decided on what basis? Because no one knows
So
its real value, right? So
yeah,
first of all,
so
yeah.
yeah. It's quite a nuanced question for this beginner podcast, but I'll go into proper depth. So the reason the price fluctuates so much is because it's a new kind of asset which is there in the world only for the last 15, 16 odd years, right? If you go and ask about bonds or securities like equity, they've been here in the world for hundreds or thousands of years in case of gold and all of that. Because hence the price fluctuates a lot because it's a very new asset and people are not sure how to price it. Alright. Any asset in the world, the price is determined by demand and supply, right? So there's a lot of demand for Bitcoin and the supply is very limited. That's the most famous fact about Bitcoin. That it has a limited supply and you have to mine coins uh, to be able to get coins, and that won't last forever. Eventually, you'll hit a supply cap, and that's it. There are no more Bitcoins. Like the central bank can print as much money they want, but you can't print more Bitcoins. You uh, probably can find gold on some other asteroid or some moon or some other planet. Maybe you can build more floors of houses. Like the land on earth is limited, but you can always go higher, right? So
Right.
you can say all of these other assets are not limited in quantity. Bitcoin is the only truly limited asset in the whole world, right? So
Okay.
demand and supply. The next thing about how these crypto coins, um, the price of these crypto coins are decided. So there's something called as the liquidity pool. So the price is decided by via one of two mechanisms. One is market making. So basically, at what price I buy is the latest price. At what price I sell is the latest price of that asset. Whenever a transaction occurs, that's the latest price of that asset. Okay. The another way to think about it is by liquidity pools. So imagine I have um, 10 oranges and 100 rupees in a basket, right? So each orange, the price of it is 10 bucks, right? Because I have 10 oranges and 100 rupees in one basket. Imagine I take out one orange and I put 10 rupees into it.
Mhm.
Got it? So now there are 110 rupees, but only 9 oranges.
Okay.
Yeah. So now the
Yeah.
supply of orange has gone down, but the supply of money has gone up. So when I want to take out the ninth orange, the price won't be 10 rupees. It
Right.
will
Okay.
be 12.5.
110 by 9, whatever. Yeah. That's
Right.
a great analogy. Like, I
Yeah.
like this analogy. Yeah.
So the first orange was 10 bucks, the next orange is 12, and so on and so forth. So this was a very basic example. What I mean to say is that there's a liquidity pool against a lot of these crypto coins. Liquidity denominated in terms of dollars or some other cryptocurrency. So again, demand and supply. Depends on the pool, what kind of tokens are there in the basket, what is the demand and supply, and based on that, the price is decided. So talking about market making, right? The first way I told you. So imagine there's this painting of Mona Lisa, for example. Today I buy it for $4 million. So the price of Mona Lisa is $4 million today. Tomorrow somebody buys it for 3 million and I sell it for 3 million, then the price becomes 3 million. If somebody purchases it from them at 5 million the next day and they sell it at 5 million, so the new price is 5 million. So that is how the price gets decided by the latest transaction. So two ways. One is market making and the other one is liquidity pools.
Okay.
And
And
everything is at the end of the day governed by demand and supply.
okay. So yeah, as you said that crypto is the best form, according to you, basically, a crypto is the best place or best form of currency to preserve your money. But
No, what I said is Bitcoin is the best way to preserve your money. All other
okay.
cryptos are latest technologies. Like AI is a technology where you might want to invest and
Mm-hmm.
grow your money. Similarly, Web3 crypto and decentralization of ownership. Um, if you believe in that thing, if you believe in blockchains, the new technology which tells you about immutability um, of smart contracts of anything, If you believe in all of these, if you believe in what each of these particular projects wants to achieve, um, then you can park your money or invest in cryptos. But that is investment. That is not preserving wealth. Preserving wealth, ke liye it's only Bitcoin. For growing your money, there are a lot of these altcoins, and you have to research each one of them individually. It's like stocks. You can't
Okay.
just go and buy Reliance, right? You
Mhm.
will have to research about a lot of these other stocks and then pick one which you think will make you a lot of
Okay. But are there any proper regulations or policing in trading Bitcoin? Because what I've heard is it lacks proper policing and regulations, because of which the people who want to convert their black money to white, they use Bitcoin, they trade in Bitcoin. Basically, they put their black money into Bitcoin, and if the other person buys it, so they get the return, and which so that basically their black money turns into white. So, what do you think about that?
fun. So honestly, any asset can be traded in this manner. You can also buy and sell houses in black money. I'm sure you can also buy gold in black money and sell gold in black money. So it has nothing to do with black money. Most illegal and fraudulent activities always happen in cash because it's
Mhm.
untraceable. The most traceable asset in the whole world is crypto. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on. All of them are very traceable. It's the most traceable asset in the whole world. So any smart criminal will not use crypto to do crimes. Take it from me. Hackers might take crypto because it's very easy to get digital money and hack into someone rather than robbing somebody's wallet out of their pocket. So in that way, it is good for hackers, but for criminals and fraudsters and gangs and all of those people, crypto is the worst way to commit crimes. So no smart criminal commits crime in crypto. Any news that you hear is wrong and false. And obviously, there is some crime that happens, but the majority happens in cash and in black money and not in crypto. Now about regulations. Um, uh, in crypto is one crypto is regulated in most of the territories in the whole world, and looking at the adoption and looking at the want and needs of its citizens, most of these countries are regulated. Talking about India specifically, trading and holding digital assets is very much legal. It was illegal at some point, and the Supreme Court struck down that decision, overturned that decision, and now it's very much legal. So, uh, since crypto is legal, anybody can trade, hold without any worries. There are certain taxes on crypto as well, and those are very draconian. Those are very harsh. Those are very steep. Government considers crypto akin to gambling when it comes to taxation because it has the highest tax slab of anything, and that is one reason why people try to go away from regulations and all that. But for any normal person, I would suggest doing proper KYC, following all the rules and laws of the land, and you know not messing with the government or the tax authorities, and paying your fair share of taxes. And if you're residing in India, if you're residing elsewhere, and if you have plans to move abroad to a tax haven or where there aren't crypto taxes, that's a separate matter. But being a resident of India, and if you're trading crypto in the country, you should pay your taxes. And there are ways for the tax man to automatically detect how much you're trading, what you're trading, and automatically when you file your taxes, it will show in your accounts.
Okay. And as you previously mentioned that Bitcoin is the only currency which is in limited amount. But then what about, shifting the focus from Bitcoin to NFTs. Anybody can put up their artwork as NFTs, right? So why do people then invest or put their monies in NFTs?
So again, so for normal people, it might seem very weird, and So there are many of these technologies that were developed once programmable money was invented, like DAOs, like NFTs, and so on. So now I don't think anybody really invests in NFTs, um, unless it's extremely good. I think most people speculate on NFTs, so it is more akin to gambling, I would say. Um, it's like selling it to the greater fool. Um,
Hmm.
Imagine you have a pile of trash. Okay, I give it to you, you give it to someone else, and so on. Okay, so I'm not like dumping on NFTs, but all I'm saying is that people are not holding it for dear life and forever. They are just speculating on it to get an exit, get a return on investment, and making some money. So every time the bull market comes and there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of FOMO and mania, some assets without a lot of value always shoot up in price and at unjustified valuations. So that is what happened with NFTs back in the day. However, just like Mona Lisa is priceless, just like all of these Van Goghs of the world and the great paintings of the world have a huge price tag attached to them. Some of these NFTs also have justified valuations behind them. How? So these are projects which have a proper IP or a intellectual property behind it. They have a story behind it. They have a history behind it. They have people working on it. They have licensed the artwork for various activities. One of the good names that comes to my mind is Pudgy Penguins, and so on and so forth. So some of these NFTs do have value. NFTs in general are a good technology, and just like blockchains, they are widely implemented. Crypto is just one example of implementation of blockchains. Similarly, NFTs is one implementation of crypto, and the artwork that you're seeing is just one implementation of NFTs. NFTs can be used in multiple ways. So I'll give you an example. I own a couple of domains. So you can see google.com, youtube.com having some value, right? You can't just go and buy google.com. Whenever you buy some
Right.
of your own domains, for example, if you buy authorstartup.com, you'll have to pay some price, right? So similarly, there are crypto domains as well. And some of these are very well recognized. And you can go ahead and buy them. And I have a couple of them, and they are stored as NFTs in my wallet. So you can use NFTs for tickets as well. You can use NFTs, as I mentioned, for domains. You can use NFTs for literally anything. So, speculation aside, so always there'll be some speculation, always there'll be some fraud, there'll be some trash in the market, but there are some good protocols hiding beneath. Bitcoin is one of the best cryptos. Similarly, there are some good NFTs and good implementation of NFTs that are here to stay. But yeah, the one that you were referring to was complete garbage.
Okay. So I didn't know. I used to think that NFTs is only artwork that people put up on the market.
Yeah, so it can be music, it can. So NFT basically is just a hash on the blockchain, and it can
Right.
point. So it's like a pointer, and it can point to anything. So you
Hmm.
can have NFTs of real things also. You can have NFTs of a house, your house, for example. It will just point to your house, nothing else. It will just signify that this is a digital certificate of ownership of your house. Whether you uphold the ownership or not is a different matter. But digitally, it can point at various things.
So just in one line, what is a blockchain and what is a hash that you just mentioned about?
Okay. Um,
In short,
so
not in very detail, but yeah.
yeah. So a blockchain is a data structure which stores data in a chain, so that the older events are immutable, um, and are very computationally tough to go back and change historical data. And you can only add data in a chain, right? So that is how I would describe a blockchain. So like each block is connected to its previous and the next block. Um, the hash which I'm talking about is just a cryptographic hash of something. So in cryptography, there are a lot of one-way functions. one-way functions, which means so even in wallets there are private keys and public keys. So you can derive a public key from the private key, but you can't derive the private key from the public key. So similarly, you can hash anything and you'll get an output, and that output is what I'm calling as the hash, right? Hashing function creates the hash, all right? Um, so that hash will represent the item. Um, so there's only a one-way relationship. You can't
Got it.
look at the hash and tell you and recreate the item.
Okay. So now, if you don't mind me asking you, how much have you earned up till now by trading in Bitcoin?
Yeah, so let me just continue my story a bit from 2022. So
Sure.
I started taking riskier and riskier bets, and I lost all of my money. So I was down to barely pennies. And by that time, I had learned a lot about the industry. I knew that it was a bad time in the market, and I had taken undue risk. And I knew that if I had to come back, I had to come back at the right time, which was 4 years. Right? So at that time, I probably had 2 years to do that. 2022 to 23, 23 to 24, and some more months. So I give and take 2 years to achieve my goals. So at that point, I didn't know how it would work, but it did work out. So I started receiving a lot of airdrops. I worked with a company called KGen, which is a gaming guild based out of India. I worked with them for 8 to 9 months in operations field. I started doing events for CoinDCX. I started doing events for Pi42. I started creating content for CoinDCX. Um, I won a bunch of hackathons and competitions. I hosted a very big fest in my college. I, got incubated one of two of my projects into companies, and one of them also received a grant from the government of India. Uh, so, in multiple ways, doing freelancing. So I got code for a couple of people, and I got some money out of that. So in multiple ways, I started building up my wealth, and I reached the point where I wanted to. Back in 2021, the number was like a dream. It was like very far, and I now it seems like a very conservative target because I reached twice or thrice of the number that I dreamed of to be there during New Year of 2025. It's not a very
That's
big number. I don't set a very conservative goal, but I reached that, and I'm very happy, and I'm very well prepared for the 2025 bull run. Um, so there isn't an exact number of how much I made, um, but in percentage, because I don't know how much money I put in to begin with. Like
okay.
any money that I have, I always put it into crypto. But mm, at least, uh, at least a 3x or a 4x is something that I must have done of my portfolio.
Okay. So earlier you said that you thought that you are not a smart guy, but you definitely are.
No, no, I am still like way, way behind others, and that's only because I don't trade often and I don't take undue risk anymore in the market. Um, so just an example, there have been days when you make like 40,000 rupees in 2 hours. There have been days when you lose 40,000 rupees in a matter of minutes. Okay, just a random example. 40,000 means like 300, $400. Um, so that is that was back when I was very young, and I used to lose money like it's nothing, and because I used to make money like it's nothing, it was just a bunch of numbers on the screen. Um, but eventually, I went to zero, and that is one story that I look behind uh, whenever I want to get inspired by my own self. Whenever I feel low, I look at myself and be like, if I could achieve that, I can achieve a lot of other things. But from zero, I actually built back uh, the goal number and exceeded it by 2 or 3 times um, by New Year of 2024, 2025, which was the date that I had set. Um, just by hustling in all of these different ways, by trading crypto, by working in internships, by doing all of these other things. So
But there might be some rough current portfolio value of yours, right?
no, I can't reveal all of that.
Okay, no issue.
Um, but it's not much. Like it's not enough to buy a house. It's not enough to buy cars.
No,
That's
but
it.
it is definitely more than enough for a 21-year-old.
Yeah, very, very surely. Like I was very stressed out that my peers might be earning more than me in internships and all of that. But I can definitely say that I earned more than them in my internship, in my journey.
So, have you thought of, or do you have any plans of not going the conventional way and doing a job, but doing freelancing or such gigs or just trading to earn money?
I Okay, so one very important thing which I wanted to address was that do not get into this industry if you don't have money. Okay, because it's a very inefficient industry. There are a lot of taxes and all of that. It's a very new industry. Um, if you make money on a regular basis, like if you have a monthly salary, 100% invest in it. Okay? But if you are a student and you don't make regular money, don't get into the loop of learning to trade, making money from your pocket money, thinking that you have a 2,000 rupees of pocket money and you'll make 10,000 of it or 20,000 of it. All of that doesn't happen. All right. So don't try to um, trade if you don't earn money. If you're earning money on a regular basis, 100% go ahead and trade. If you're earning money on a regular basis, 100% go ahead and invest in Bitcoin. But if that's not the case, if you're not an earning person right now, invest in education, invest in skills. That is one
But
thing
I
which I
like
would like to tell everyone.
But I've heard the same thing from my cousin also. He also basically trades a lot in the stock markets and he's good at it. He also started it when he was a student like you, but both of you are doing well in that. Both of you started when you were students along with your graduation. But then both of you suggest that if you're not earning or you're a student, you should invest in education and not all of this. So
Yep. So
why like
yeah, so
this?
coming back to the unconventional path. So I plan so on a longer term basis, I feel trading is a PvP game and there's no economic output for the whole world. There's no productive thing that you're making or building or creating for the world. And I want to get into something where I build stuff, where I build products for people. So I want to start a tech company. I want to, write code. I want to create products for everyone that people can use, which will help them in their life. And trading is not productive at all. Okay, you can make a bunch of money if you're really smart. You can make a lot of money. Um, but even if you're a very good person in business, if you're very good at creating products, you can make a lot of money. You can become an inventor. You can become a scientist. So I feel I belong there. I belong in that industry where I teach people, where I develop stuff, where I create stuff, where I build things myself, where I have a team and we build things together. So I feel my calling is over there, but I also love crypto absolutely. So any money that I make will be going into crypto. In fact, my unconventional path, which I hope that I'll get, is as you mentioned, freelance, trade, and all of that. Get retirement, and then with all the time and with all the freedom that you have, go and build some product. Or on a reverse way to look at it, what I'm thinking of doing is joining Web3 companies and Web3 projects, which are building crypto projects or any technological projects, which um, they are usually based out of India. And when they pay in dollars, it's quite a huge amount in India because of the purchasing power difference. So that would be the best case scenario, and I'm hoping to land up a job in that sense, where I'm working for
So
a company that's not based out of India but pays in dollars.
okay. So, like, are you interested in building tech products and you are interested in coding, or how is it? Like, do you have an interest
Yeah,
in coding and stuff?
yeah, a lot of interest. So I'm learning um, all sorts of frameworks and languages and libraries and technologies, and I'm a bit slow because I think I've dipped my finger in a lot of things, uh, but I think it's quite good.
As you said that you have dipped your fingers in a lot of things, you have actually tried crypto, internships, coding, everything in the past 4 years. So, like a genuine question out of curiosity, how much time do you give to all of this? Like each day, how much, for how many hours do
Yeah.
you
So
work, or how
there's
many hours do
no
you dedicate?
there's no secret or there's no superpower. The honest truth is that I gave up something to do all of this, and that was my CGPA. So I have a very low CGPA for an engineering student, and that causes a lot of problems. But that is something where I knew that I did not have a chance. So I am in the EXTC branch, as you know, that too in
Mhm.
VJTI. So the best of the best students study here, and they're interested in electronics. So there's no way I can compete with them when I'm interested in coding and software, and that is how it works in India. And so I just do the bare minimum to pass, and you know, there's no way I can compete with them or get grades as high as them, because then I'll have to devote all my time to my subjects, which is not possible. So since I do not focus on academics at all, uh, that's how I'm able to do all of these other things. Uh, Still, I won't say I'm very efficient at it because I spend a lot of time on unnecessary but educational content on YouTube. But when you really like something, like I really like crypto, I really like to talk about it. I really like to evangelize people about it and teach people about it, make people aware about it. So when you really like something, you can always find time. So I can say that for the past 4 years, I've been learning about crypto at least for half an hour daily, if not more. So it keeps compounding. Over years and years, it keeps compounding. So on some days, it's much more than half an hour or 1 hour. Some days, it's very less. It's like 15, 20 minutes. Uh, but on an average, if you go out and put in some effort every day over weeks and months, it compounds to a very big number. And yeah, I think 4 years is a good enough time to learn the ropes
So not
slowly.
necessarily you have to put a long number of hours, but even if you put work for decent number of hours, but consistently, so still you will get fruitful results.
Yeah,
Great.
this is something that I've learned over the years, that we overestimate the amount of effort it will be required to excel at something. Like none of the things I've touched so far require so much time and effort. Um, you can fit one thing in the schedule. Another thing that I've not been taking care of is my health, like in the way of like gymming or something. So that is
Mhm.
something that I'm looking forward to start very soon.
Okay. So you have earned decent amount of money along with your studies, but uh, what should engineering students or any graduate do to earn money along with his degree and courses?
Yeah. So I have some advice for all of these students. So the first thing, it is very cliche and repeated 1,000 times, but um, learn a skill. So my way of learning it is a little bit different. So what you do is, when you get into engineering or whenever you have a lot of time, start learning different technologies, all sorts of things that interest you. Okay, you can do non-technical stuff as well, like video editing and all of that. Learn basic skills, like you have to learn English, you have to learn basic coding because it's going to be useful everywhere. But apart from that, try all sorts of domains and skills and activities, and eventually you will end up liking something, or you'll realize that this will change the world and you want to contribute to it. Thereafter, learn it, master it, and you'll get a lot of freelance job offers everywhere. Okay, so getting a full-time job is might be difficult, getting a freelance job is, so, um, I feel very easy because everybody wants to get their work done for a lower cost, and you can use the arbitrage of living in India but earning in dollars, and that would be really beneficial uh, for you in terms of the amount of money that you can make and the amount of competition that you can beat by taking a lower pay compared to somebody working from a developed country like USA or or European countries. So take a lesser pay compared to them, but that would be a lot of money in India anyways. Uh, be masters in some skill, uh, get freelance clients, and then try to go big. And that is how I would suggest college students to earn money. There are many other ways, but I think this is the way which will serve you well, even when you grow older, because you've already mastered your skills. So it's very transferable to a job or to starting your own business in that domain. On the other hand, if you go ahead and make money in some other ways, uh, which are not necessarily in your domain, you will make a bunch of money. For example, if you start organizing events like I do for crypto, and you make some money organizing events, sure, okay, but is that transferable to what you want to do throughout your life? Probably. And you'll make a lot of money. You'll make, and even this amount of money is more than enough for a single bachelor student, who has no responsibilities, has no family to take care of. But can that last for your life? I do not think so. So learn some skill which is very important and which you want to use throughout your life. Don't go for small wins. Look at the larger
Mhm.
vision, larger picture, and go for the big.
Okay. So, like you mentioned that you had also done some internships during your graduation. So, in what domain were they?
Yeah. So KGen, CoinDCX, both of them were in crypto field itself, and they were in different parts of the crypto field. So KGen was more into operation development. CoinDCX was more into community, social media, and events, and so on. I also formed my own community called the Web3 Mumbai community, which
Mhm.
is flourishing right now, and it's like my baby. I really take care of it, and I hope to see it grow, and I want to make something out of it. Uh, I'm not saying I want to make money out of it. I'm just saying I want to see an impact uh, out of the community. So I saw that there are no Web3 communities in Mumbai. So I built one, and I think it's going really well right now.
What basically, who can join your community? How can someone interested join your community? Is there any eligibility criteria or
No.
something like that?
So right now it's like a WhatsApp group, and anybody can join in. Uh, and they can, so on the WhatsApp group what happens is we host a lot of events, crypto events, and we have a lot of sponsors and venues and all of that. We have a lot of tie-ups with vendors, so we can easily pull off events. So when we do these events, a lot of these people in the community come for our events, and they learn about crypto, and they take that awareness home. So we never tell you to buy any crypto. We never tell you to do something because we say so. We just want to spread awareness and increase adoption of crypto, um, by what we do. That is the main aim, onboarding the new people into the community. So anybody can join. It's a simple Twitter page and a WhatsApp group. um,
Mhm.
if you like, you stay. If you don't like, you're free to leave the group. And there are a lot of people posting some good content on the community. So over time, you'll start learning new things. Initially, it will be so I call this, I phrase this as a tight slap on your face, because the learning curve is very hard. Um, Crypto is not for normal beginners because it takes months to learn the jargon. Okay, you can get up to speed of a few basic terms in 2 weeks, but it takes a lot longer to learn the nitty gritties of each and every protocol. So it takes some time, but when you're at it, uh, you'll gain a lot of exposure, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of alpha and a lot of edge over others by being part of such communities. And we want to create a space where everybody can come together, contribute.
So just one last question before ending the podcast. I was stalking you on Instagram before this episode, and I just saw one post of yours where you had, I think it was sponsored by Coffee by Dibela. So, and you had posted it a long time ago. So, how did you get that sponsorship, and what did you get that sponsorship for?
Yeah, so that's what I was telling you, that back in 11th and 12th, we had this student micro influencing gigs. So you just had to have like 200 to 500 followers, and all of these various companies would sponsor you to put posts on their behalf. So instead of giving an ad agency to run ads, they would
Hmm.
give the money to a lot of students, because you don't have to give a lot, lot of money to each student. You have to give a very small amount of money. So you can reach a larger amount of people. So I worked with a lot of brands, and usually it was stories, so you cannot see them. Very few were posts. So one of them was Coffee by Dibala. So how it worked was they used to send you freebies. Like for example, they send you a waffle or something. That's for free. And when you post it, and that gets some amount of interactions, and when you share the insights with them, you get some more money out of it. So almost all of my posts on my Instagram are sponsored, except for a couple. So lot of the stories that I used to post in 11th and 12th, majority, like you can say 90% of the stories or the posts that I used to post on Instagram was sponsored. Um, like it was
Hmm.
very little organic content and mostly sponsored content. That has changed
Okay.
because I stopped doing that.
Hmm.
Um, and I started following good practices from a very early on stage. Like a lot of these influencers don't reveal that this post is a ad or a sponsored post, but I always make sure that I, add a hashtag, or let the audience know that this is an ad. It's not organic content.
That's
So
morally
a
right to
lot
do.
of these posts and yeah, a lot of these posts and stories with various big brands like McDonald's, Starbucks, Coffee by Debella. Like I've worked with a lot of brands, and I received a lot of cool gifts and a bunch of comments.
But how did you approach those brands?
So there was this app called Frap app. It changed to name, um, and they stopped doing this. But there were a bunch of apps that used to help you do this back in the day, and bunch of platforms. So it keeps changing. I think there was something else in between, and then something else in between. So you'll always
Hmm.
find a couple of these platforms or agencies which are willing to do such activities. You'll have to find it takes some time to find them, but once you find it, uh, like if everybody knows about it, then there's no advantage, and
Of
you
course.
like it becomes very saturated. You won't even get an opportunity to participate. But
Right.
if you dig and find a gem, that's when you have an advantage and you can make a lot of
So, do you need to have certain amount of followers on Instagram or any social media platform to get that sponsorship, or they
money. Yeah,
give
of
it
course.
to anybody who approaches them? Sorry?
No, no, no. You need to have some basic following. Um, so I was in Poda school, and it is infamous for having a lot of students. Like we had divisions till like A B C D F G H I J K L M N O and so on. And each class used to be packed with 50 students, 60 students. So there was no shortage of acquaintances that I knew, and I used to follow everyone. Everyone used to follow me back. So the amount of people following was never a problem. Uh, I was
Okay.
always in crowded places. Being a Mumbaiker, that wasn't an issue.
Right. So, what type of content do they expect you to post? The sponsored content that you are talking
So
about.
they directly give you the content that you're supposed to post. They give you examples as well. They
Okay.
give you write-ups as well, uh, of what you're expected to say or speak. Um, but at the end of the day, you have your creative freedom to do some changes. but
Mhm.
they have an outline of what they expect. So it's very
Okay,
similar to how big influencers work with brands.
right. So I think we should wrap up this podcast here. We got great insight from you. You are a very knowledgeable guest, and the audience has a lot to learn from you. But I just fear that they should not get intimidated by all your achievements and the all the gigs that you tried during your graduation, because I got a bit uh, like I felt a bit of inferiority complex कि भाई ये इतना कुछ कर रहा है and what am I doing? But yeah, so I also personally got to learn a lot from you, and I hope we'll keep having such discussions and impart and exchange our knowledge, whatever we have learned. And I hope this helps the other people who want to start trading or who want to explore what is cryptocurrency, what is Bitcoin, and stuff. So, yeah, I think we'll wrap up this podcast here. Thank you, Aditya, for giving your time.